Thanks for coming, and your interest, obviously. It's great to go out and play well enough to win. I think there's some things we all know we've got to do a better job with when you look at a whole football game, but I think our guys responded well. I think as a team, I've said it many times, but they really complement each other offensively and defensively, and in the kicking game. So it was great to win a football game. Anytime you can win that great rivalry game, it's good. Michael.
Now?
Yeah.
All right. All year, Al has been kind of, each week when we meet with him on Tuesdays, say, hey, at some point the offense is going to come. At some point, Denard's going to look like the quarterback we want him to be. Have we seen that the last 2 weeks? I mean, completing over 70% of his passes, rushing for close to 300 yards, throwing for 350 yards. Have we seen what Denard is capable of and what our offense is capable of with him?
I think a couple things. Number one, I think he's grown and matured as a Michigan quarterback throughout the course of the year. I think the decisiveness that he has run the football with when he's made that decision that there's some open area or whatever has really been good the last couple weeks. And I think that's helped his confidence. I thought he ran extremely hard with the ball on Saturday. And when we can rush the ball for 277 yards, it helps you, obviously, when you get into the throw game and the passing game. And I thought he made 3 really good throws again. He was 14 of 17, so his accuracy and the completion rate was, pretty doggone good. So, I think he just keeps growing.
Brady, what was the mood like the last 36 hours? Did you hear from a lot of people? What was? Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of text messages that I haven't even seen yet, to be honest with you. That's nice, and it's great that people want to congratulate you, but we're not done with this year yet, and we didn't, our goal is to win the conference championship, and we didn't do that, so we got a lot more to prove.
And the Urban Meyer hiring looks to be official now. Just what do you think about going against him? You guys have had somewhat similar paths.
He's not going to play it down, and neither am I. So it's to me, I've known Urban. He's a good football coach. He's a good guy. I welcome him in. But, this is still Michigan and Ohio, and it's still going to be that rivalry. And, it's neither one of us are going to play a game.
Some of Ohio State's players took exception to how your guys celebrated with the whole falling back.
Yeah.
Did you have any problem with it, or how'd you look at it?
I don't have any problem because it wasn't disrespectful to anybody. It's something they do every Friday. At the last thing when we go to victory, take a knee. And it surprised me the first time they did it. And no, it wasn't disrespectful to anybody. It's something those kids have done for 12 weeks.
To follow up on Urban Meyer, I think you had him in during the spring. He came in, and I don't know how behind the scenes he's got, but are there any regrets there?
No. Nope.
Do you think this team should get a BCS bowl bid?
Well, we're not going to make that decision. The one thing I can tell you about this team, this is a team in this conference, the Big Ten, that's won 10 games. It's a team by that body of work, I think, is recognizable. I like how we've played at the end of a season and how our guys have gotten ready to play and how they've represented Michigan. And, those questions will be answered, but we don't have anything to do with it, and we've done all that we can do. And Is it deserving? Probably. You know, a 10-win team out of the Big Ten Conference. I think that speaks for itself.
Brady, you talked week to week about how you're so focused on the next game. Now that you have essentially a month before the next game, are you taking time to review the season and take overlook, or is that something that's still going to?
We'll do some of that, you know, and you try to keep up on it, Mark, every week. You know, to be honest with you, when you look at, you know, what you're doing in third downs, what you're doing, then from self-scout wise and all that. But it really, for us, you know, recruiting. You know, it's the lifeblood of your program. We had guys in on officials this weekend, so you're, you know, working and trying to, you know, make Michigan the best. And so we've got to, you know, continuously work in that area.
Brady, after the game, somebody asked you about the BCS, and you said, I think we have a pretty good football team, which
Yeah.
is something you've been reluctant to say this year. At what point did that kind of enter your mind?
Well, it's a good question, because I think the way they've handled themselves, you know, from a daily basis, you could see that they were gaining a little bit of confidence as a team together, and that's such a big part. And they've had good chemistry since day one. They've had awfully good leadership. The seniors have done a tremendous job through the course of the year, and I think the confidence that they've shown together means an awful lot, and I think they've gone out there and played that way.
Coach, right here.
Yes.
I think there's something to be said about the decision-making, the aggressive decision-making that you've shown throughout the season, and especially in this game where you elected to go for it on 4th and 1 on the Ohio State side of the field. Where does that decision-making come from?
Well, some of it's instinct, you know, during the flow of a game. You see how your defense is playing, you know, you get an idea for that. Greg knows that, because we've obviously talked about that, we're going to take some, I don't know if you call them chances, I really call them opportunities when they come. And so I have confidence in the offense and confidence in our defense. So it's more of that than anything.
Okay, and earlier in the year against Notre Dame, something that stuck out to me was when you said, and with the last 8 seconds to go against Notre Dame, you guys went for the touchdown, and you said that if you had not gotten the touchdown, you would have gone for it again. Now, in this game, there's a similar situation with the Koger touchdown that on 3rd and 1, or yeah, 3rd and 1 from like the 6 or something like that, that Denard completed. If you hadn't gotten that touchdown there, would you have gone for it on 4th and 1?
You know, I don't think so. Not at that point in the game. I'd have to go back and what was the situation, what was the score, what was the time in the game. All those things always make a difference. So we may have faked a field goal.
Brady, back on the BCS, have you had a chance to look at what teams you want to see win this upcoming weekend? And is Michigan State?
I don't have that kind of time. I really don't. I mean, I don't have that, and I don't worry about things that we really can't control. You know, the one thing, and we're going to have a meeting today with our team at 4:30, and we had recruits in all weekend, so I've kind of been busy. So I really, you know, there's other people who can look at all that stuff and figure it out. And when they figure it out, then they'll tell me.
Brady, right here.
Mm-hmm.
There obviously were some breakdowns in the secondary, especially deep. Have you had a chance to break down the film yet? And if so,
well, and you can't just put that on the secondary. Number one, you've got to give Ohio some credit because they've always been a vertical team. You know, since 1995, I remember them being a vertical passing team. I think some of the difference is they max protected a lot. They kept in 6 or 7, so they could be more vertical. We have to do a better job of getting pressure And that means you got to get two guys on the one-on-ones that got to get home, you know, and part of the problem when you play a guy who's athletic like Braxton Miller, if you want to send people or if you want to play man coverage and you've got defenders with their back to the ball and he makes, you know, an athletic move scrambling or something like that, you know, it's really, it's a little bit of both. We didn't get enough pressure. We've got to play better throughout a whole play. And what I'm saying is we've had so many good pressure plays, you know, from our front in the last 3 weeks, if you think about it, that, you know, you got to hold your coverage a little longer. You got to be a little more disciplined with your eyes. And we didn't do that as well as we needed to.
And
does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
It does to me, but.
And looking at the safety spot, you had Thomas Gordon and Troy Woolfolk cycling in and out throughout the game. What did you see from those two guys, and what went into the decision-making of who played when?
Well, we were going to play them both. You know, we both, you know, obviously we think they're both competing well practice-wise. We think they both give us something, you know, as a team. And, you know, Thomas, you know, I think he was in on the goal line stand, which really was a pivotal time in the game to get to the goal line stand, the play J.T. Floyd made. You know, he blitzed off the corner, and then Miller started scrambling and chased him all the way down. That gave us an opportunity. If not, he's in the end zone. But, you know, Thomas did a nice job in that sequence. Troy did a couple good things in other sequences during the game.
Brady, back over here.
Yeah.
The one that talks out of turn.
Yeah.
This program was 5-7 2 years ago, 7-6 last year. There's been a lot of talk about whether Michigan is back, and I won't ask you if Michigan is back, but did you feel like this program took a big step forward this season so far?
We'll find out. You know, I don't know if until the season gets over and Michael, until we finish what we start, then I think we'll sit back and look at it and evaluate a little more. I mean, the one thing I can tell you, the most disappointing thing for all of us is we didn't win the Big Ten championship. And at Michigan, that's an expectation. And so we've got a lot of work to do.
Is there a sense you're on the right track?
I think every team's different. We're going to lose some great leaders in this senior class. I hope the guys who are that next in line learn some valuable lessons from these guys in work ethic and way they respected each other. Maybe not always agree with each other, but there's a respectful way of disagreeing and being on the same page.
Van Bergen said the other day that the attitude was kind of on the verge of, on the thin line between cocky and confident. Is that about, how thin is that line, and how, is that where you want it going into a game on Saturday?
Probably. You want to be like that every week, you know, and so, I mean, I think, you know, the kids, what's the term now today, swag? I don't even know what that means, but I think you've got to be confident in your abilities as a team, you know, and there's a composure and there's a poise that goes along with that, you know, and I think these guys to this point have done a nice job with it.
Did you need the win over Ohio State to solidify the good things you'd done all season long?
That's an important football game when you're at the University of Michigan.
Brady, have you had a chance to meet exclusively with the seniors since Ohio State? And you had a guy like David Molk saying, if I come back here in 20 years, you'll be the first guy that he goes to look up and see. How does that sort of thing develop over a relatively short period of time?
Trust. Trust. It's all based on trust. And it's all based on, you know, honesty and being honest in your dealings with people. And then they can trust you.